Hello, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to be making an off-shoulder blouse with exaggerated puff sleeve. These are the measurements you are working with: shoulder 17, shoulder to bust 11, shoulder to underbust 14, shoulder to waist 17, and then we have the length of the blouse. The bust circumference is 36.5. The underbust is 31.5, though we do not really need the underbust. The waist is 36 and the hip is 45. The blouse length making between 23 and 24. So I have 24 cut out. When we finish it will be 23. So it's going to be an off shoulder. It's going to be 4 inches off. 4 inches off. So we'll do 4 inches off. Then I have 24 inches here. So to know the amount of fabric to put on fold, I've cut out my fabric already. The blouse is going to be a little bit free on the body. So I have 15 inches as the front piece and 16 inches as the back piece. You can always adjust as required. So using your hip measurement, then you can add 3 or 4 inches to that to get the amount of fabric to put on fold. So this is 4 inches off. So I'm going to mark the bust point is 11. And then if you go up by 2 inches, that would be the chest line. So I have, this is 4 inches off. This is shoulder to the bust line, 11 inches, and then I need my shoulder to the waistline, 17 inches, and then the length of the blouse, shoulder to hip line. So just repeat this way so that we can have a straight line. So use a long ruler. So this is now the chest line, this is the bust line, the waistline, and then the length of the blouse. So I'm going to be taking the neck width from here. Now there are 2 ways to go about the neck width. You can use half of the shoulder measurement and then subtract 2 inches from that, so that it will not be too wide. So if your shoulder measurement is 16 inches, for example, half of that is 8 inches. And then you go in by 2 inches because it's an off shoulder. So you now have 6 inches. So another way of doing it is to use the bust span measurement plus 1. So use half of the bust span measurement plus 1. So you can always determine how wide you want the neckline to be. So I'm going to be using the nipple to nipple point. Half of that is 3.5, and then I add 1 inch to that, making 4.5. So that will be the width of the neckline, 4.5. So I'm using the same neckline for the neck width for the front and the back, but they will have different shape of neckline. So I have my 4.5 inches here. So remember, it is 4 inches off, and then you put where the armhole depth would have stopped. The armhole depth will be 7.5. So you mark that. So on this armhole depth line, you put in the bust circumference divided by 4. So this is now the upper chest line. So from here I'll just connect to the armhole. It's not a deep armhole. So I'll connect like this. This is crepe fabric. So this is the armhole. Okay. So the next is to determine the depth of the neckline. Remember, it's 4 inches off. So I'm going to use 3 inches as the neck depth. So you can use any one of preference, 3 or 3.5, whichever one you wish to use. So I'm making use of 3. So for the front neckline, I'm going to curve it like a sweater neckline, while the back will be a round neck. So this is how the front neckline. So this is the front neckline. So I'll just mark where the back neckline will stop. So this is where the back neckline is going to stop. Okay. So the next thing is to take on the bust line, impute the bust circumference divided by 4. And then 1/2 inch for ease, 1.5 inches for seam. On the waistline, the waist circumference divided by 4. One inch for that, 1/2 inch for ease, 1.5 for seam. Then come to the hip line. The hip circumference divided by 4. One inch for that. So connect hip to the waist, waist to the bust line. Not the way up, like so. So you blend it out. So I'm going to cut. I'll be cutting the armhole on the side first. Then I'll cut the neckline separately. So I cut open the zipper line. So separate it to cut the neckline. So this is how the front look like. So this is better. Just blend it well. Okay, and then for the back neckline, that's the back neckline. You're going to be cutting facing for this and for this. This is an exaggerated puff sleeve. So next is to cut the facing. You just put the fabric underneath the neckline. Place it on the neckline like this. You outline the neckline and cut it out, so you have this. Okay, you do same for the back. Place it on it, then you cut out the shape and you have something like this. So this is for this, for the back, and then this is for the front. So to sew, you place it right side facing each other like this, then you stitch here, after which we turn it inside like this. Okay, so place it on it like this. Place it on it like this. Sew it 1/2 inch. Do same for the other back neckline. So this is for the back pattern. I'll come back to show you what it looks like after sewing. Then for the front pattern, place this on it like this. Then we sew 1/2 inch. Of course, you notch the curve part. You also notch the curve part of the back. So when we are through, we'll flip it inside like this. So I'll come back to show you what it looks like. And then for the exaggerated puff sleeve, I've cut this out. The length is 37 inches. 37 inches by 15.5. So you are going to be pleating the upper part. I'm going to be pleating that 2 ways. Either you pleat or you use gather, but I'm going to be pleating it. And then for the down part, you're going to create an elastic casing. So fold it in with 0.25 and then fold it again with 0.75 so that we can have our elastic casing. We'll do that for both of them. Then I'll come and show you. The shoulder is going to have a band, a 4 inches length band. That is 4 inches on fold. That is only 8 plus 1 inch seam allowance. So we're going to cut out the shoulder band. You can cut it out on bias form like this. So you measure. So I'll just cut 10 inches long. I can always trim off the excess later. And then the width will be 1.5, so that when we are through it will be 1 inch. So I'll use this to cut it out. So I'll show you after cutting. So you are cutting it on bias form. So fold like this. Then you measure the length you want and you cut it out. So you cut it and show you. And then it's going to have a rope. You are going to be attaching the rope to the side of the blouse. So I've cut this out. This is 4 inches wide. So after sewing, you are going to fold it into 2. Fold it into 2 like this. We sew with 1/2 inch and then we turn it inside out. So we'll do that, then show you before we know the next step. Don't forget, this is Jdollar Fashion Guide. Please support my channel, subscribe to my channel. So this is the neckline after turning it with the facing. I've turned all of them. This is the front, then this is the back. So if you want to add that to yours, I'm going to be adding that. You fold the middle, you fold the front piece into 2 like this. Notch the middle, and then you mark half of the bust span measurement. Half of the bust span plus seam allowance. So I'm going to notch that point so that it will show at the back. Okay. Remember that this is an off shoulder. This is an off shoulder, and then this is the waistline. Okay, so the dart will be on the waistline. We form like a triangle down. So upward, the dart will end. We end here on the chest line. So let me just mark how we're going to mark it. So what I have here, I'll repeat it on the waistline. I don't want to cut the fabric, so I'm going to pinch and sew the dart. So this is the waistline. We'll take 1/2 inch on both sides. It's going to be like a triangle. This is the hip side. So this is the chest line. We'll stop 1 inch before the chest line. Before the bust line. So I'm going to stop here. So I'll pinch it like this with a chalk mark as a guide. So the sewing will end here. I don't want to cut through the fabric, so this is how I'm going to sew it. To start tying like this, 1/2 inch to this place, and then it will thin out again, so that the dart will be something like this. So I'll repeat same for the other side, and I'm also going to add that to the back pattern as well. This is the back piece. I'll place both of them on each other. So I'll make sure that both of them match. So I'll also mark where the dart will be. This time around, I will add the 1 inch for zipper. So this is for zipper, and then the darts. So I'll measure what I have here. So this is the chest line, the waistline, and then the hip. So I'll stop the dart 1 inch above the bust line. I will stop it on the chest line. So I can stop the dart 1 inch above the 1 inch above the bust line before the chest line. So I'll stop the dart here. So if the pattern stopped, assuming it was the waistline that the pattern stopped, then you just take your half inch on both sides at that point. But this is around the hip area. The blouse is going to be about 23 inches long, so we'll take the dart on the waistline. So mark the half inch on both sides. Like I said, I don't want to cut this out. So what we did in the front, that's what we're also going to do here. Only that the dart will extend above the bust line. So I'll notch this point. So I'm going to repeat the way I've drawn it. I will repeat it on the other side, and this is how I'll pinch it the way I did for the front pattern. So if you don't want yours to have a dart, then you just leave it like that. So I'll come and show you what it looks like after sewing the dart. Finish sewing the darts. So next is to join the side. So use a temporary stitch to join the zipper line. We left 1 inch allowance. So this is what the zipper line look like after pinning it in place. So you can use a temporary stitch to hold it down, or you leave it like that for now. So you are going to join the side. Match the front piece on the back piece. Like this. So confirm your measurement and then you reshape the side. So we join it at the side. Show what it looks like after joining the side. So this is what we have after joining the side. So I've cut out the shoulder strap on bias form. So we are going to attach this to it. I've already sewn the elastic casing. So we put both of them together like this so that we can mark the armhole. So pick this and then just place it on it like this. And then we cut it out. So this part you can use gathers for it or pleats. This part, I think I'm going to use gathers, and then we use this we put it such that it will occupy 8 inches. So you mark it, that means 1 inch this way, 1 inch this way. So in between, we'll gather this in between. So let's do it and show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like if you are making a gather stitch. So you run the gather stitch on it like this, and then you take the shoulder strap, you mark it, and then you pin it against it like this. So you sew on top with the gather stitch as well. Then after that, you take this and you put it over it, fold it like this and place it over it like this. So use your pin to secure it after which you sew it. So after sewing, you are going to have this. After sewing, this is what it will look like. Okay, and then the next thing will be to attach the sleeve to the main body. This is the main body. So you first of all use this to mark where you are going to sew the side seam. So mash it together like this, and then you mark So we're going to sew this. You stop here first so that we can be able to pass the elastic. So we sew here. So I'll come back to show you what it looks like. So this is the sleeve after sewing the shoulder strap, the shoulder band. So we are going to join the side down, then attach to the sleeve. So to do that, we pick the main body like this. So use this to mark where to join. Okay, so we're going to sew we are going to sew here. You stop before the elastic casing. We are going to close the elastic casing later. So after stitching, you take it like this. You fold this part in like this. You also fold it in like this. Then you take the main body. You do same here. I'm going to have this, then you bring it inside out like this to the right side, then you turn this as well, and then we're going to match. Make sure that this seam matches this seam here like this. Make sure it matches. Use your pin to hold it in place. And then for the neckline, you mark it what you have. You mark it. You do same for this. It's supposed to be 4 inches. You have 1 inch extra on both sides. So you just mark it. Because we have a total of 5 inches, so you mark the 1 inch. You also mark it on this side. So after that, you match this to this point like this. You also match here. So here, this one, the mark is here. Okay, so you use your pin to hold in between here. So after that, you sew with the seam allowance. Remember the backing here. So you can always measure, making sure you have 8 inches here. So if it's not up to 8, you adjust it. So this is our 8 inches. Then you adjust the pin. Okay. So we have 8 inches now. So you stitch here to this side. So after stitching, you're going to have this. I'm going to have something like this, so that when you measure from here, you should have 4 inches. This is 4 inches. So once you are through with that, then it will be time to place in the elastic. So you get your elastic, measure your bicep, what you have, then you can reduce 1 inch or 2 inches. So you just, elastic is according to how tight you want it to be. I'm going to measure 9 inches. But the bicep should be is around 11, so 9 inches will be okay. So I use it to cut the second one. So with the safety pin, I'll pass it through the casing. So I'll secure here. So you adjust it to how tight you want it to be. So you can measure what you have. So this is just okay. So I'll just leave ½ inch here, and then I connect it to the side here. So I'll do same for the other side. So after that, the zipper line that has a temporary stitch, we'll remove it, and then you go and do knitting round all the space. You weave it or you knit it, also the down. After which you fix the zip. After knitting, you fix the zip. I'm going to be putting an invisible zipper so it matches with the column. So when you are doing your weaving, you weave the down as well, and then you are going to fold the down. For the weaving thread not to show, you can fold it twice. But if you use a matching color, then you just fold it once with 0.25. But I'm going to be folding it twice, and that will be all. I'll show you the final look on the mannequin. This is Joydala fashion guide. Here's the final look of our blouse. I hope you find it tutorials helpful. This is Joydala fashion guide. Please subscribe to my channel. This is Joydala fashion guide.